Hey guys, Puppet Mama here, and today I'm going to be talking about the positive things that I've experienced while going vegan this month, and they far outweigh the negatives. I wrote a list because I knew I wouldn't remember everything, so let's get started. Alright, I don't know if you can see my hair, but it had started taking like a really lifeless quality. It felt greasy all the time. It just was kind of limp no matter what. I don't curl my hair. I don't do anything but brush it when I get out of the shower and then brush it whenever. But look at that. Look how bouncy and curly it just is. So definitely seen a difference in how, because it was really starting to aggravate me and I was ready to just shave it off again, but I don't know, I kind of like it the way it is now. Alright, the next thing is I've had fewer headaches. Now I've had migraines since I was little. In fact, my hair is so thick and heavy that there are a lot of pictures of me where I'm sitting and I'm bent forward and my head is bent back because my hair was so heavy that it actually gave me headaches. It would just pull. And so my mom, that's why I've always had like really short hair. My mom cut my hair and the headaches weren't as bad and weren't as frequent, but I still had headaches that were food related. And I went to the doctor when I was a teenager because I was having them really bad again, and he told me, he was like, you've got to cut out the processed food, you've got to cut out the chocolate, you've got to cut out the soda, and that was really hard when I was a teenager. What teenager doesn't want chocolate and soda and processed food? But, so I've just always had really bad headaches. And I was getting to the point when we were eating paleo, it's like it helped them. It helped because I was having such bad headaches 2 or 3 times a week that I would get off work and just lay down on the couch and have to not move. And on my days off, they would be the worst. And so I was having them like I said, 2, 3, there were some weeks that I would have them 4 or 5 days, and the paleo helped. It got it where I was only having headaches 1 or 2 times a week. But since doing this, I've had 1 headache this entire month. And that is fantastic. The next thing is my sinuses have been clearer. It had gotten to where when I would go out walking, or mostly when I go out walking and get outside, I would like immediately clog up and I couldn't breathe, and it would be very difficult to walk up the hills that we have around here, and like I couldn't breathe. And I really haven't had that since going vegan. I think there was like 1 day when I couldn't breathe, but that's because I went for a walk right after lunch and I was just full. But like sinus wise, not as many problems. I don't know if you could tell because this camera is harsh, but my skin is clearer. I've had fewer breakouts, but the major difference that I found is less itching. I am just kind of mildly allergic to a lot of things, and so before we went paleo, I itched all the time, like if you saw me out somewhere, I might be like scratching my nose, scratching my arm, or, you know, like, or can you scratch my back? I mean, just always itchy somewhere. And then switched paleo, and most of that cleared up. I wasn't as itchy, except in the shower. I get in the shower and I would just itch, especially my nose. Since going vegan, I have not experienced even the itching in the shower. And I mean, a little itching every now and then, but nothing compared to what it was. I've also experienced less pain, because, more than likely because of my weight. When I stand for long periods of time without really cushy shoes, and even with really cushy shoes, I get like an extra 2 to 4 hours with comfy shoes, whereas without comfy shoes, I can only stand for a couple of hours before my heel starts to hurt really bad on my right heel, and to the point where it's just like almost crippling. Like, you can't walk the next day too good without, you know, really comfy shoes and wrapping my ankle and all that. And it's not even necessarily in my ankle, it's my heel, and it takes like a lot of massaging and Advil to get it to stop. And I've had a lot less of that, and that is fantastic, because I don't like wearing shoes. So the next thing is my digestion has been better. So I got to where anytime I ate anything with tomatoes, tomato paste, crushed tomatoes, any of that, I had really bad acid reflux, really bad indigestion, and it was, you know, just excruciating. There were some nights when I would wake up because I felt like a dragon, like I could breathe fire. That's how bad it was. And I have a hard time taking stuff for indigestion, because most of the stuff that's out there, I'm actually have really bad reactions to. There was one medication I was taking, I'm not going to say what it was, but there was one medication that I was taking that it worked for maybe a month, and then after that I started having esophageal bleeding, which was bad. That was terrifying. There was another one that gave me really bad diarrhea. Sorry, but it did. And so I really have a hard time taking anything for indigestion. So the only thing I found that I could take with any consistency is papaya enzyme, and just try to like eat things that are not going to make that occur, because I don't like having indigestion and not being able to control it. So I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought just a little bit. Now I can eat tomato-based products. I guess it was just the tomato base with the meat was making it terrible, because now I've been eating like Mexican food with salsa, and I've been eating Italian food with marinara, and it has been fantastic. I've like we were going through maybe 1.5 bottles of papaya enzyme, and now we're going through maybe, and that was a week, now we're going through maybe one, I think we've gone through 2 bottles this whole month. And for me, some of it was habit and like getting out of the habit of taking them before every meal, just, you know, because it's best if you take them before a meal, and just getting out of the habit of doing that. And it's gone down even more since I stopped taking them with every meal, or before every meal. I've also had an easier time swallowing. This kind of like runs in the family. We have a hard time swallowing. It's on my mom's side, it's on my dad's side, and so if you've ever eaten with me, which is rare, I don't eat with a lot of people because of various reasons, but if you've ever eaten with me, you may have seen me like jump up and start walking around. That's because it's not going down. And so I was just like, it was getting worse and worse, and I just thought, oh well, you know, that's just the way it is. That's just genetics. My mom's had a hard time her whole life. My grandmother had a hard time. My grandmother on both sides, they had a hard time. The older you get, the worse it is. Blah blah blah. And I think this whole month I've only had one bad day, and that was today. And it's like I'm writing this list, I'm having trouble swallowing, but I mean, there were times when I learned this trick from sword swallowers, where I was having so much trouble swallowing that I'd make sure I was sitting extremely straight, and then lift my head so that everything had a very clear path, which is what sword swallowers do to get the sword all the way down without harming themselves. And sometimes it worked, and sometimes everything came back up. Which I know I'm being gross. I'm sorry, but that's life, you know. So yeah, easier time swallowing. And, you know, I learned that the #1 choking hazard is meat. So, of choking deaths, it's usually choking on meat that does it. The next thing is I've had fewer gallstones. I kind of talked about that before, but, yeah, like, I'm getting enough fiber to keep everything moving. That's just the way it is. Alright. Let's just be gross. That's the way things are going today. Let's just be gross. The next thing is I smell better. Alright, so I'm going to tell you a really gross story. I got to where when, you know, I would wash my clothes, I would fold them, put them away, and then I'd take one out, put it on, go do some stuff, and if my shirt got wet in any way possible, like if it was raining outside, if it was doing something, you know, if I was washing dishes and splashed myself, I would have to change my shirt because it would smell like bacon and body odor. And that is a gross combination. And it's like, even when we stopped eating bacon, it still smelled that way. We actually had to change our detergent to something stronger to see if we could get rid of that. It didn't really help. It helped a little bit, but not much. I would go out, I would come inside, I would be like, I've got to get a shower, I stink so bad. And now, it's not that bad. Like, all my clothes smell better. If I get hot, I'm not worried about offending anybody, or, you know, it's not I'm like, not like, oh my god, people are gonna smell me, I need to go home, I can't be out in public anymore. So that's great. The next thing is the food is delicious. I mean, everything that I've made has been super good, and just, that's always great, right? I mean, you don't want nasty food. Are you okay? Are you okay? The next thing is I've actually lost weight. I'm going to talk about that tomorrow on the final day. My clothes are fitting better. I've been able to wear some of the shirts that I had put away because I couldn't wear them anymore. And I just feel like I look better in my clothes. Like, my body shape is changing. So if you've watched any of my old videos, you may know that we did the Whole30 challenge once or twice, maybe more, I don't even know. But when we would do it, it was boring. You know, it's like you can't, there's so many things you can't eat on a Whole30, and you're supposed to reset. And, you know, I like a lot of flavor. I like sauces. I like deep, rich flavors and really sweet flavors. And in order to get those flavors, I couldn't really do it on Whole30. And it was very aggravating. It was very bland. It's like even using a lot of herbs and spices, it just wasn't the same. And on this diet, you know, if I want to make a little sweet and sour sauce with some fruit, and like I make it with apricot preserves that are all fruit and no gelatin, and some ketchup and some spices and some vinegar, and it's delicious. There's no fat, it's a lot of carbs, and you know, a little bit of that on some pasta or rice and a lot of stir-fried veggies. It's fantastic. I've had pizza when I've done Whole30 before. It's like we tried a pizza, it wasn't good. I had some people pick on me about it because I took a picture and put it up, and they're like, what were you eating? And I'm like, it's a pizza. But I've had like real pizza, but not real cheese. I have eaten some cheese substitutes. I've had hamburgers on buns, they were vegan. Just everything has been super delicious, and I've still managed to lose weight. I've still felt better, and I don't feel deprived, which is fantastic. Alright, the next thing is I felt more satiated. Like, I felt more full. I felt happier when I get done eating, and I attribute that to, one, carbs and, you know, all those happy chemicals that your brain needs to function and feel satiated, and getting my tummy full and not eating a bunch of calorie dense food so I can eat more food. And that is why I predict that afterwards I'm going to be able to stick to what I'm doing, you know, because like you do a Whole30 and then you're supposed to do this very gradual, you know, here's what you're supposed to eat afterwards, and you know, you're supposed to reintroduce food slowly. But it's like everybody's like, oh, when we get done, I want some ice cream. When we get done, I want some pizza. When we get done, I want this, I want that. because we've had ice cream, we've had vegan ice cream, we've had pizza, we've, you know, had all the bad things that everybody craves when they've deprived themselves for 30 days. And I've not deprived myself. I feel fantastic, so I think this is, you know, just the way things are, and I hope that I've inspired at least one of you, because I love you guys, and I want you to be healthy. I want you to be happy. I want you to do this for yourself, because you're going to be so much healthier. I want you to do this for the environment, because, you know, we're coming into these crisis situations, and it's terrifying. And I found out that, like, one day, I think it's 1 day of eating vegan helps reduce water usage by enough water for the next 80 showers that you take, because of the water that it takes to grow food for the animals that you eat, plus the water that it takes for the animals to drink that you eat. And I urge you to do this for the animals, because the meat industry is terrible, and they're terrified, and that's why they are going after vegans. That's why there's so many laws in this country about what you can do and what you can say when it comes to the meat industry. And like terrorism laws, that's how frightened they are of vegans. And, you know, just do what you can. And I love you guys, and that's why I want you to do this with me, because you're going to feel better, and you're going to smell better, and you're going to look better, and you're just going to, I think you'll enjoy it. And I'm hoping to do more videos with like food and stuff, and this video is really long, and I'm very sorry, but I just thought it was really important. And I will see you guys tomorrow, because tomorrow's Halloween, and I'll let you know the final results of what's going on. And if you have gone vegan, if you've been inspired by me, let me know in the comments below. Tell me what it was that inspired you the most. I would love to hear it. It would make me feel so good. And I guess that's everything. Like the video. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.